Just Stop Oil decided to protest Coca-Cola and Pride in London.
Right.
So there was a bit of a delay because of that. And,
Right.
oh my God, the tweets that the gay people that were up in arms
Yeah.
with Just Stop Oil taking action
Right.
was unbelievable. And I'm probably going to shock a few people, but I'm sort of with Just Stop Oil here.
Right.
And loads of people were piling on me because I tweeted Just Stop Oil saying fair enough, basically. Because they decided they took act. You know about this, right?
Yeah. The Pride in London is what it is. And Just Stop Oil, which is like a pressure group, environmental pressure group, if you're not in the UK, you might not be across this, but they're turning up to various events and disrupting them.
Yes.
Be it the Grand National,
The
Wimbledon,
Chelsea Flower Show.
Yeah, you name it. So they turned up at Pride, basically.
Yeah. Now, I actually think they're hilarious, which is probably a really terrible opinion. But I think it's so funny how up in arms everyone is about it. And you see all these people saying, this isn't the way to get people on side. You know, the Piers Morgans of the world. You're turning people against the argument. Sorry, how is someone turning up and throwing some orange food colouring on the floor, destroying the quite clear argument that the planet is going to kill us all at some point? Like, that's not really an argument there, is there? We should all be on side with the message.
Well, there is an argument there. Like, there's not no argument there. Like,
But what's the argument?
you're taking the piss out of Pride, basically.
But they're not, though, are they? Just Stop Oil called on Pride in London to make a statement condemning new oil, gas and coal, right? And they say if they fail to take those basic steps necessary to protect our community, because this was written by queer people, they would consider potential escalations. And the escalation, quite rightly, was not to protest Pride in London as a whole, which they could easily have done, but they decided to protest the Coca-Cola float at Pride in London.
Yeah.
Now, I'm completely with that. I mean, ultimately, are Coca-Cola particularly good for our community anyway?
I don't know. Well, they turn up to Pride.
Yeah, but what does that mean? Everyone turns up to Pride. I mean, Budweiser turn up to Pride and sponsor Dylan Mulvaney and then drop Dylan as soon as there's the whiff of transphobia. I don't think it's offensive at all. But so many gay people were just like, how dare you protest Pride? This isn't about you. This is about us and LGBTQ plus people. And obviously it's nuanced, and there's parts of this argument I'll be wrong on, and I'm happy to be. But I guess my basic thought on it is that, yes, without a planet, there won't be gay people.
Yeah.
And they're right when they say marginalized communities are the first ones to suffer in any kind of crisis. So really, climate change is something that all queer people need to be thinking about and across.
Yeah.
But one of the arguments I kept getting online was that the police had arrested these Just Stop Oil protesters, right? And so this gay that follows me was like, now I'm seeing arguments from the right saying, oh, just because Just Stop Oil protested the gays, they're arrested. But when it's Wimbledon, they're not. Almost concerned that it makes us look worse now that we're protected. I don't really understand the mentality of that. But I guess what these people are trying to say is that now it makes us all look bad. And again, we discussed this the other week about Philip Schofield. We don't all look bad because 4 queer people laid down in front of a Coca-Cola truck with some orange paint. Yeah. Are you for real? That's ridiculous. Yeah. Go and protest Kevin Spacey if you're worried about us all looking bad. Yeah. It's crazy. The way we are so nervous of our message being destroyed by the actions of 1 or 2 or 3 people within our community. It doesn't work like that. Yeah. We do not have one message. That would be crazy. Yeah. We all have different ideas and different thoughts and different things to protest, and that's completely fine. So, yeah. What am I doing about the planet? I'm supporting their movement. I'm going to donate some money to them.
Are you really?
Yeah, I think they're hilarious. You don't think they're... Did you see them at Wimbledon? Yeah. It's so funny. They stopped play for like 3 minutes by throwing some orange ticker tape, and everyone's booing. Yeah. Those clips will be shown in TV shows, documentaries in 50, 100 years' time. Yeah. And our future siblings will look at that and they will cry at how disgusting their ancestors were towards their future. It is disgusting.
I do agree with that, actually.
I find it repulsive, and it gives me the shivers, actually. I think it is so grotesque and ignorant to behave like that.
Yeah, I do agree. Although, if it was your thing they were disrupting, you might feel slightly.
I don't think I would actually. People, if I was in traffic trying to get somewhere and they pulled up in front of me, I would join them. I would, and then the police would arrest me, and I'd be like, "Well, you can't actually, unless you want to take my car key, because I've joined them from."
There's a certain irony to that, isn't it?
What do you mean?
Well, you were probably in that situation. You're probably making an unnecessary car journey, which is
maybe. And it's not lost on me that we were just talking about LA Pride and how I've just got back from there.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I know. I'm very aware of it, but I'm not. But what I'm not doing, or maybe you'd say it's worse that I'm taking flights than booing. Just stop oil. But what I'm not doing is booing them.
Yeah, I agree, and I do think this discourse about like, oh, they're ruining the message. I don't think they are actually at all. I really don't, because people are talking about it constantly, and
I think they're highlighting.
Yeah. People obviously said this about the suffragettes. People obviously said this about the civil rights movement in America.
Yeah,
and like none of that's aged well. And I mean, it's easy for me to say that because I'm literally about to fly to New York. But then I didn't move to New York, so like.
So you're blaming your girlfriend for your carbon footprint.
What am I supposed to fucking do?
You don't need to blame anyone. You know, it's not.
I'm only flying to New York, genuinely.
Listen, don't defend it. You know it's bad. That's why you're trying to defend it. And it is bad. And it is bad. And that's fine. It's fine to admit that and still do bad things, I think. But because it's not really. Like, we know one person doesn't change everything. Yeah. It's a group of people. It's a mindset.
Tell Martin Luther King that.
I don't know him.
Well, he's one person that changed.
Yeah, but he's not here anymore.
Well,
okay. So what are you trying to say?
Well, one person can change everything, can't they? That's what I'm saying.
Fine, we're both terrible people, right? Is that how we want to think of it?
Well, I'm not. Well, no, neither of us are. Like we all draw our lines in the sand on different beaches, right? Which is I heard somewhere the other day. I don't know where.
I love that.
But it's true, right?
Yeah. It's like I don't drink cow's milk. That's a line I've drawn. But mostly because it is because of the climate, but it's more so because I think it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, they rape cows so they can get milk from the mums.
Yeah.
And then they take their children away. But that's the bit that upsets me, the fact that they take the children away.
Right.
So I stopped drinking cow's milk because of that. But I'll still eat a cow.
Yeah.
So that makes zero sense.
Yeah, it doesn't really.
But,
I mean, equally, I don't buy anything from Nestle. I really, really try not to because I just find them particularly egregious. But yes, I will do other shit.
I think we'll probably have to just get Matthew Todd back on to discuss this further.
I think Matthew Todd is amazing.
If you don't know Matthew Todd, he wrote Straight Jacket.
Yeah,
he's been on our podcast. He's incredible, and he's really turned his activism towards climate change.
Yes.
I don't know. He's seen a significant drop in social engagement since he did so.
Right.
Which I think is very alarming.
Yeah. I guess people just don't want to see it, and I'm a bit scared to get him back on.
Don't look up, right?
I just yeah.
Why are you scared?
Well, because it'll be utterly depressing, won't it?
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Is it depressing to know one's fate? I think if you know your fate, you can change it, and that's the issue, right?
Yeah.
We all know our fate, and no one's doing anything about it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we are in a system where it's our leaders that are meant to do something about these things, and they're not doing anything about it. Because this plastic bag tax that we have here pisses me off. Why am I paying 25p for a plastic bag? We're not saving the planet by not using plastic bags. That's the tiniest drop in the ocean. Same with straws. Plastic straws. Like, the change that we've made in those scenarios is just to make us look better.
I disagree, because ever since they stopped giving out free plastic bags, you see a lot less plastic bags, like on the street and in rivers. Do you know what I mean? I think that was a really good thing. Similarly with like Waitrose saying like you can't use a coffee cup, you have to bring your own. I don't know why Pret and Starbucks tomorrow, this afternoon, within the next hour, they could go, you've got to bring your own cup, and if you don't have one, you have to buy one for £2. They could do that in the next hour.
Yeah.
Do I have to do everything? Do I have to run Pret? Why can't they do that?
What?
It winds me up so much.
You just went from like 0 to 100 about. You just pulled on some.
But tell me why they couldn't. They could do that tomorrow if they really wanted to.
I don't know, and
it would be great PR for them.
But
because
I do know
even the bad PR is good PR for them. Like it's insane that they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but again, I don't think that's the biggest problem.
It's up there. It would be a bloody good start, wouldn't it?
The biggest problem is the way money's moving around the world. The fact that our leaders aren't doing fucking shit about it.
Yeah, but they might do something about it if Pret were like, guys.
No, they wouldn't give a shit. They don't care.
They would. It makes him look. It will make the government look really bad if Pret were like, guys, we're not doing.
So yeah, and then what will they do? They'll tax them. So,
well, good.
No, it's not as simple as that, is it?
I actually think it is simple. I really do. Like,
but how?
The government tomorrow could be like, we're gonna drop the prices of public transport. It shouldn't. In my opinion, getting on a bus or a train should be the default and the obvious, and it would be so easy to sort.
I'm not a politician, but you know that if they did that, they'd end up not having any money.
It would be a start.
It
would
just
be a
doesn't
start,
work.
It would be a start.
But that's the problem, right? It's all fucking broken.
Well, it will be a start.
So I support Just Stop Oil and what they're doing because they're trying to tell the government
to
do something and they're not doing it, and so I'm fully with them.